Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Congratulations on your chairmanship. We look forward to your leadership over the next 2 years. Wyoming is the largest coal producer in the nation, and what I want to say to everyone is, you're welcome. We keep the lights on, and we heat your homes. We do a beautiful job of it, and I invite everyone on this committee to come to Wyoming and tour our mines. And I can assure you, you will be impressed. In talking about our native populations, the Navajo tribe is the owner of one of our largest coal mines. And it is important that we keep those operations in place and that we, in fact, expand them. Coal is the energy of the future. It is not the energy of the past. And the hysteria over global warming and climate change is not improving our environment. It's making us poor. It is creating more energy poverty and is making us weaker on a national and international stage. Ms. Lyon, you stated in your testimony that a 2-decade timeline from prospecting to production is far too long for critical minerals. And I agree with you, because Wyoming is also home to many critical minerals. The permitting process for new mines in the U.S. is overly cumbersome, unnecessarily complex, and makes resource development uncompetitive with other countries. How would you propose to streamline this process so that critical mineral projects like Bear Lodge Rare Earth Project in Wyoming can help to secure and domesticate this critical supply chain?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for your question. As I have mentioned, we need long-term solutions and short-term tools. Those long-term tools or solutions include permitting reform and streamlining that will help our agencies work together rather than work against each other. And all of those voices need to be at the table. We need timelines that we can count on. And we need some judicial review reform in order to ensure that after a $400 million investment, we know we have a permit we can act on, and we can get these minerals out of the ground after we have earned the right and the ability to do so.
Certainty and stability seem to be two of the most important issues that you're describing there. In the 118th Congress, we passed Senate File 2228, which exempted semiconductor projects from NEPA. Even though the mining industries which produce the minerals and fuels needed to produce the chips enjoy no such exemption. Do you think only exempting certain industries when widespread permitting reform is needed is wise national policy making?
No, ma'am.
I don't either. That's why I introduced H.R. 676, which uses the same approach as Senate File 2228, but for minerals and fuels. In order to sustain our grid, ensure national security, and support industries such as the semiconductor industry, do you think legislation such as this is needed?
While I am not familiar with the specific legislation, semiconductors to all technologies are absolutely required for our national security and our energy future to produce the energy we need as a country.
Energy security is national security. I think it's that simple.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
regardless of what it is that we are producing, whether it is oil and gas or uranium, phosphorus, potash, whatever it may be, it is absolutely critical for our food supply chain, our energy supply chain, and making sure that we can maintain the same standard of living that we have right now. Isn't that true?
Absolutely, ma'am. Our energy resources are also reliant on an infrastructure behind it to get it onto the grid that uses all of the minerals that you can think of.
Yes. Uranium plays a critical role in our energy and national security, supporting 20% of the electrical grid, our nuclear navy, nuclear deterrence, and other defense applications and life-saving medical applications as well. In 2018, the U.S. Geological Survey, or USGS, included uranium on its inaugural critical minerals list. In 2022, the Biden administration improperly removed uranium from its updated list with no consideration given to the underlying merits. This decision puts uranium at a disadvantage in the federal permitting process and critical minerals programs and is counterproductive to our legislative achievements over the past 2 years. Mr. Bazilian, how is the intent of the Prohibiting Russian Uranium Imports Act and Nuclear Fuel Security Act being undermined by the exclusion of uranium on the USGS critical mineral list and the DOE critical mineral list?
Thank you, Congresswoman. Uranium is terribly important to the United States it's also important to Native American lands, as you know. We import lots of our uranium from Canada, our closest neighbor, of course, Kazakhstan as well, but Canada is an important part of that supply chain. I would also note that very recently there's finally been a deal to transport uranium across the Navajo Nation, and part of that deal includes helping clean up and the possibility with new technologies of getting new uranium from those resources. So I think having it as top of mind is very important.
Do you think it should be on the critical minerals list?
The current critical minerals list of USGS needs to be refined in many ways.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.